After closure of the line in the spring of 1967, the task of reclaiming the track and signalling equipment fell to the district civil engineer. An inspection took place in early May to assess the work involved. Later that year, engineers' trains began removing signalling equipment and plate layers' huts. Lifting of track began in May 1968, starting at Sidmouth Junction, where the connection to the main line had been severed on 11th of June 1967. However, on the 10th of July, the River Otter burst its banks after heavy rainfall and breached the line between East Budley and Newton Poppleford. With 30 wagons and other recovery equipment isolated by the floods, the section between Tipton St John's and Sidmouth and the line towards East Budley were dismantled and removed sometime later using road vehicles. Work progressed at Budley Salterton, and by mid-August track lifting had reached Littleham. A month later, the railway had passed into history. Following removal of the track, several notable structures remained in situ, the most recognisable being Exmouth Viaduct. However, within a few years, the former railway alignment made way for various road improvement schemes in Exmouth. At Littleham Cross, the deep cutting either side of the old Salterton Road Bridge was filled in, allowing a new road junction to be constructed. Exmouth Viaduct, a major landmark in the town for almost 100 years, succumbed to the demolition squad in 1985 and was captured in its dying moments by local photographer Peter Smith. When the viaduct had been swept away, another local improvement scheme saw a new roundabout and road widening at Marpool Hill, with housing development in the space once occupied by the railway. Part of the former trackbed between Exmouth and Littleham has been converted into a footpath and cycleway. By the turn of the century, the local landscape had changed out of all recognition. Where once was engine shed and sidings, a new ring road now relieves traffic flows into the town, avoiding the busy Exeter Road approach. By the early 1970s, the former Southern Railway station, opened in 1924, no longer catered for the crowds of holidaymakers it once served in the post-war years, and it too vanished from the scene to make way for a roundabout. The new single-storey station was compact and somewhat utilitarian in comparison. It incorporated Platform 2 of the former terminus and was opened on the 2nd of May 1976. Despite the ever-present threats to local branch lines, the railway from Exeter to Exmouth continues to thrive as a useful and popular transport link and appears to have a reasonably secure future. In 2003, responsibility for the service passed to Wessex Trains. Despite the line being single, trains run every half hour, passing each other at Topsham. Several Exmouth services continue beyond Exeter to Barnstaple, Paynton, and on summer Sundays to Oakhampton. In 1974, the station site at Littleham was bought by the local council for a sheltered housing project. Now known as Jarvis Close, the only remaining recognisable railway feature is the station building itself, incorporated in the new development. The trackbed between Littleham and Knowle has been converted into a cycleway and footpath. In 2005, it provides a popular recreational facility in this scenic corner of East Devon. The old railway bridges at Castle Lane and Knowle, together with one of the tallest brick-built railway structures in Devon at Dulwich Lane, still stand, testament to the soundness of their construction over 100 years ago. Nothing remains of the former station at Budley Salterton. After several years left in a derelict state, some development took place in the old goods yard with the opening and eventual closure of local supermarkets. Since then, housing projects have sprung up on former railway land. The only link with the past is in the name given to the new residential development on the site of the station, Stanley Mews, in memory of the last station master, Mr. Stanley Murch. Beyond the station, a short stretch of the track bed has been converted into a footpath which passes beneath and above several bridges for about a mile to the outskirts of the town. Here, it's still possible to see the old road and railway bridge at Kersbrook, now isolated following realignment of the A376 to East Budleigh. As with many old railway stations, that at East Budleigh has been converted into a pleasant country home. Now occupied by owners sympathetic to its railway origins, the platform and canopy have been retained and restored, recreating the atmosphere of times past. Such cannot be said for the station at Newton Poppleford, which was completely demolished. Today there is no trace of the railway. Even the road overbridge has been removed to allow for levelling and widening under a traffic improvement scheme. Of all the former railway stations, that at Sidmouth is still clearly recognisable, almost 40 years since it was closed. The station house and booking hall have been converted into office accommodation, with the original entrance and canopy hardly changed at all. At the rear of the building, the platform roof, complete with its valance, protects a covered storage area. The goods shed and yard are occupied by a firm of builders merchants, engineers and other local traders. Buses serving the town's terminus at the Triangle link it with Exeter, Exmouth, Seaton and Honiton, now the railhead for trains to Yeovil, Salisbury and London. Tipton St John's is still the peaceful village it always was, despite the railway's intrusion for almost 100 years. Once again, few would realise there was a busy railway junction at its centre. To the south of the station, a new housing development has been built on former railway land, while the station itself was converted into a private residence. To the discerning eye, a few telltale signs of its former railway use can still be found, among them the concrete drain track positioned beneath the platform's water column. Towards Ottery St Mary, the track bed has been ploughed back into the adjoining fields. In the distance, beyond the hedgerows, the old iron girder railway bridge still spans the River Otter, though no longer witness to the sound of wheels clattering over its decking. The scene at Ottery St Mary is very similar, with little to show that the railway once passed through the town. Although the station house survives as a local youth centre, it is only on close inspection that one discovers its connection with the past. Wander off the beaten track down quiet country lanes and it's possible to find the sites of the level crossings at Cadhay and Gosford. The crossing keepers' cottages are still inhabited, though the new owners no longer have to worry about passing trains. Amazingly, at Cadhay, the old gates still stand across the road, albeit for no particular reason save to protect cattle in the adjoining field from straying onto the highway. And so to Sidmouth Junction on the main line. Although it was closed in March 1967, along with the branch lines it served, the former station still saw trains passing through on their way between Exeter and Waterloo. It remained deserted and abandoned for the next 4 years. However, by the early 1970s, following new housing development in the village of Fenniton, it was decided to reopen the station to serve the local community. The former down platform was brought back into use on the single line when the station was reopened on the 3rd of May 1971. Following demolition of the original station building, a prefabricated ticket office housing the control equipment for the automatic barrier crossing at the west end of the station was erected on the site. Now staffed by Network Rail personnel, Fenniton Crossing belies its former role, a replica Southern Railway name sign providing evidence of happier times. More recently, the station has seen further improvements, including the extension and resurfacing of the platform, together with the installation of an electronic train indicator board and public address system. New station signing completes the corporate image transformation in the privatised railway environment of the 21st century. The manually operated level crossing gates have long gone, being replaced with modern automatic barriers. Across the road, the old Nog Inn still provides a link with the past, and a pint or two for the weary traveller, no doubt. In the summer of 2005, South West Trains' timetable has a service of 13 trains each way on the Waterloo-Exeter route, using Class 159 diesel units. The former up platform is no longer used and has escaped demolition. In the distance, the branch junction is now overgrown and hardly recognisable, although some evidence of the station's southern heritage can still be found on close observation. A single line in the direction of Honiton is all that remains of the once extensive track layout and goods yard. The old junction signal box was taken out of use and demolished soon after the branch closed, together with the remaining yard sidings and run-round loop for Platform 3. While the two branch lines have slipped into the mists of time, it is still possible, with a more enlightened attitude towards rail investment, that the former Southern Main Line could yet be redoubled in the future. The ability to pass trains without waiting for single-line sections to become free, and the subsequent recasting of schedules, will offer a more attractive regular pattern of services. Such would be a fitting tribute to the line's Southern Railway heritage. It is surely a prospect that would be greatly welcomed by the population of East Devon.